Over 90% of employers conduct background checks according to recent data, but some go a step further in verifying employee fit and ask for letters of recommendation. If you've never had to secure these endorsements, you might not know where to start. In this video, we will walk you through everything you need to know about recommendation letters. This video is sponsored by ZipRecruiter. If you're looking for a job, ZipRecruiter can help. ZipRecruiter makes it easy to apply for jobs with a single click. You can also upload your resume to their resume database so that your resume is searchable for thousands of recruiters and employers who use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is also free for job seekers. Click the link in the description below to get started with ZipRecruiter today. What is a letter of recommendation? A letter of recommendation is an endorsement of your skills and abilities, and sometimes your character as well. Employers ask for letters of recommendation to ensure that candidates are worthy hires that will fit well into the company culture and the rest of the team. How do you ask for a letter of recommendation? When asking for a letter of recommendation, always be considerate. Keep in mind that the person writing the letter for you is doing you a favor. They're taking time and effort to help you impress a potential employer, so the least you can do is make things easy on them. Always send a written request for recommendation or a written follow up if you spoke to them in person about the letter. You can include details like the employer's name, the hiring team's name, the position for which you're applying, any specific skills or qualifications that would be useful to mention, and any other guidelines or requirements from the employer about the letter. Who should you ask for a letter of recommendation? Letters of recommendation are valuable only if they're persuasive. If the hiring manager reads the letter and is unimpressed or unconvinced, the letter was a waste of everyone's time. So it's essential to choose the right person to write your letter. Consider these guidelines. Choose someone who will be impressive to the hiring manager. Avoid family members, close friends, or anyone who can't speak to your abilities. Look for recommenders who are familiar with your work and have positive things to say about your qualifications and skills. Select someone who has time to help you. A hastily written recommendation won't make the case that you're the best hire. And finally, ask in advance and be specific about your needs. For example, you might say, I'm looking for a letter of recommendation for blank job. Would you be able to attest to my skills in that area? Now that you know how to pick the perfect person to write your letter of recommendation, how do you follow up on that letter of recommendation? There's nothing worse than waiting for a letter of recommendation that seems like it's never coming. You also don't want to be a bother to the person who is writing your letter of recommendation. To minimize both of your discomfort, set expectations right from the start. When you request your letter, ask if the recommender can complete the reference by a specific date. Build in extra time if possible to allow for follow up. A few days before the deadline, reach out and see if you can provide any additional information. Be sure to thank them for their assistance when you do so. If the letter is late, it's permissible to follow up once. If the letter still hasn't come through and you haven't heard anything from the person writing the letter of recommendation, you may be out of luck. For this reason, it's best to line up more than one letter of recommendation so that you have a backup plan. A letter of recommendation can mean the difference between landing the job and getting cut from the candidate pool. Now that you are armed with this knowledge about letters of recommendation, you may be ready to search for your next job opportunity. If you are, we recommend ZipRecruiter. Click the link in the description below to get started with ZipRecruiter today.